spine pain is not okay. Joint pain is never okay. Just set the intention to honor your body and your practice wherever it is today. Gently bow. Then release your hands, open your eyes, and let's come to all fours on your mat. And again, you might, want to bring a blanket nearby. If you're not on a cushy floor, you can put a blanket underneath your knees if your knees don't like the floor. We're going to start with a little cat and cow. So take your knees hip width apart and make sure your feet are in line with your knees so they're not closer than your knees. And then go ahead and tuck your toes under. It's a good way to already activate the ankles. And then move your tailbone up toward the sky and inhale, look up. So soften in between the shoulder blades. This is cow pose, the belly hangs down. Then exhale and round your spine. Take your low belly up and in. Inhale, look up, tailbone up. Exhale and round your spine. Inhale, look up, tailbone up. So you can make this as much of an expression of the spine as you like, or even the arms. You can push the hands into the mat. Exhale, round, tailbone down, low belly up and in. Stretch it a little bit more, tucking your chin. Inhale, look up, tailbone up. Then continue on the rhythm of your own breath so I can give you some other cues. Think about making space in between your vertebrae. And then when you look up, you can even think about drawing the arms back and the chest forward to open the front body. Getting a full breath there. And then when you round, you hollow the belly out. Press as much of your spine up toward the sky as you can. Think about pushing your arms away from your knees. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath just like that. And a round is a full round, an inhale and an exhale. And then when you finish that, you just come straight to neutral spine. Again, with the thought of softening in between the shoulder blades so that place right in between the rhomboids just softens and melts. Keep your head in line with your shoulders. Then we're going to inhale and stretch your left arm up toward the sky. So we're just going to do some shoulder stretching. You can come up on the right fingertips. And then exhale, thread that left arm through and under the right. So you can come to the left side of your head and just stretch that left arm over to the right. We're just going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Now, if you want to dial this up and make it more interesting, you can, as you're there, stretch your left arm further to the right, or stretch your right arm out in front of you. You can even step the right leg back if that appealed to you. You can think about turning your belly and chest up underneath that right arm a little bit. Just stretching out the rhomboids a little bit. One more breath. And then we'll come back to all fours. On your next inhale, stretch the right arm up. And come up on the fingertips in the other hand so the shoulders can be in alignment. And then exhale, thread that right arm through and under the left. You're going to come to the right side of your head. Pause right there. So before you invite a deeper stretch, see what it feels like where you are. If you want to go deeper, slide your right hand to the left a little bit more, or stretch the left arm out in front of you. Or ultimately, you could take that right leg back or the left leg back to add some balance. Turn your belly and chest up underneath that left arm. Take one more breath. Walk your left hand back. Come back to all fours. So just a note on the wrists as well, since we're doing joint alignment. Take your hands outer shoulder width apart, and you want to place the ball of your index finger into the earth so that the wrist can get a little lighter. So the emphasis is right there on the index finger knuckle and even the knuckle of the thumb. It's because we tend to be on hands and knees a little bit, or just hands, so you want to go easy on the wrists. As you're ready, we're going to invite a little more movement. You'll inhale, stretch your right arm and your left leg up. So you still want to keep the right toes tucked under, right? So you want to keep that back leg quite active. From the heel, pull into the core of your pelvis. From the fingertips, pull into the heart. Connect with your breath. Squeeze the back of your leg up toward the sky. Exhale and release. Inhale, other side. Left arm, right leg. So still the top of my head is in line with the fingertips. My head is not dipping below my shoulders. Push out through your right heel. From the heel, pull into the core of your pelvis. From the fingertips, pull into the back of the heart. Tone your low belly. Tuck the left toes under. Exhale and release. First side again. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Turn your left elbow crease in toward the midline. Bend your left knee, sole of the foot reaches up toward the sky, but then tone your low belly. Top of the head stays in line with the fingertips. Exhale, release. Inhale, last side. Left arm, right leg. Tuck the left toes under. Turn the right elbow crease toward the midline. Talk about that a little more later. Then go ahead and bend your right knee, sole of the foot up toward the sky. So you can start to feel your hamstring work. Your glute might be working a little bit. All right. Exhale, touch down. Walk your knees back a few inches. Tuck the toes under. Lift your hips, downward facing dog. So first down dog of the practice. Bending your knees, tailbone up toward the sky. Tuck your chin and let the top of your head hang down. So here, the arms are strong. You can look at your hands again. Index finger knuckles root down so the wrists aren't taking the pressure of the pose. Squeeze your biceps toward one another. Stretch your arms forward as if you were pushing the front of that mat away from you. Stretch your chest back toward your thighs. Look back at your knees. Make sure they're just a little wider than your ankles. One more breath. On the bottom of your next exhale, let's walk forward. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. So there's an awareness that we want in the body. So this is why we don't do closed-eye yoga, right? This is a more engineer yoga. So look down at your feet. You're in a good vantage point. Spread your toes. Make sure the heels line up with the ankles, meaning you're not going to turn your heels in or out. They're parallel. Even here, spread your toes as much as you can. They might not be like my monkey toes. Press the ball of the big toe down. So even there, you're not putting any stress on the outer ankle. Bend your knees, inhale, look forward, lengthen your spine. So stretching the chest forward again, pull the hands back and draw the chest forward. Exhale and fold. Keep the knees soft, no reason for a straight-legged forward fold. Inhale, stretch your chest forward. Exhale and fold. One more. Inhale, stretch your chest forward. Take your hands on your hips, draw the shoulder blades onto your back. Inhale, rise up. Good. I'm going to walk back, but you should walk forward to the front of your mat. Feet hip width apart. Again, keep that awareness in your feet. Look down. Notice. And then what I do is I symmetrically spin the heels out, so now you'll feel the whole back body move open a little bit. Hands down, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, stretch the arms. And you can have the legs strong, but the knees soft. That's important. Same thing. You can stretch the arms super straight, but soften the shoulders. Exhale, release your hands. All the way down. Inhale, stretch up. Straight arms, relaxed shoulders. Exhale, hands to heart. All the way down. One more. Inhale, stretch those arms up. Keep the arms as engaged and straight as they are, and exhale, press into your right. So as much as you extend the arms here, and think about squeezing your ears with your arms, is as much as you'll get that nice deep stretch in the left side body. And then keeping the hips stable and square, turn your belly and chest up to the left a little bit. Couple of breaths there before side bend. Inhale and rise up. Exhale, crescent, other side. So same thing, you really want to think about reaching through your fingertips, squeezing your ears with your arms, soften your knees, and then turn your belly and chest up to the right. So sometimes, the body will forget. So now I've got to check in with my feet again. Are my feet rooted down well? Is the inner edge of my foot rooted? Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward, lengthen your spine. And right here, shift more weight onto the ball of your feet. Exhale and fold. Inhale, step your left leg back to a long lunge. Walk your right foot out to the right, just like an inch or so that you have some space in between your feet, and soften in between the shoulder blades. And then slide your belly and chest to the left. So that means your leg is stronger and your chest is independent of your leg. You go ahead and take your right forearm onto your right thigh and stretch your left arm straight forward. Connect with your breath. Top of the head is in line with your left fingertips. Sit deep into your right thigh and push back through your left heel. Exhale, touch down. Switch. Step your left foot forward, step your right foot back. Remember, you want to walk the left foot over to the left a little bit. Fingertips on either side of your front ankle. And then slide your belly and chest to your right. Take your left forearm onto your left thigh. Stretch your right arm straight forward. So right here, like you could push firmly down into your thigh and then pull your low belly up in a little bit. And then push out through your right heel and press forward through your left knee. So there's all these little adjustments that you can make that actually allow you to sit into the pose with more stability. Exhale, touch down, and step back to plank position. Look down at your hands, spread your fingers, root the index finger knuckles down. Now often the elbow creases turn forward, and that's not great, it hyperextends the elbows. So turn your elbow creases in, or think about micro bending your elbows. Soften in between the shoulder blades, keep your head in line with your shoulders, squeeze the backs of your legs up. Tone your belly. Exhale, take your knees down. We'll bend the elbows slowly. Side ribs are brushed by the elbows. Come all the way down to the mat. Connect with your breath. Squeeze your legs really strong. Spread your toes. See if you can click the tops of the toenails onto the mat. Slide your hands back a few inches. Shrug your shoulders. Inhale, come into a gentle cobra. So it's not a really high cobra. Pull your hands back and draw your heart forward. So the stronger your legs, the less this will go into your low back. Exhale, lower down. Curl your toes. Press your knees down and lift your hips. So knees down, chin down, hips up. Push into your hands to come into all fours. Now with the toes tucked under, you start to press the weight into the ball of your foot, hips rise up, downward facing dog. Tuck your chin, squeeze your biceps. Soften your knees. And one of the ways yoga is really good to focus the mind is we have all these little alignments to pay attention to, so we're not thinking about our laundry list of worries. So you can look at your hands, make sure their index finger knuckle is rooted down. And stretch the front of your mat away from your chest. Stretch your chest back toward your thighs. Bend your knees, tailbone up. Look back at your knees. Make sure they're a little wider than your ankles. Connect with your breath. Inhaling, low ribs up. Exhaling, chest back toward thighs. Good. Bottom of your next exhale, you can walk or hop forward. Whatever feels best in your body. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Let your head hang down. Now with your knees bent as much as you need them to be, you're going to hook your big toe with your index finger and middle finger. So you need to bend your knees a lot, go ahead. So when you do that, when you fold forward, you can draw your elbows out toward the sides and pull yourself into a forward fold. Let your head hang down, release your neck. And then looking forward, lengthen your spine. Keep that bind. So it's the inner body that's opening quite a bit. Sitting bones move back and widen. Bend your elbows, exhale, fold forward, low belly up and in. Inhale, look forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale and fold. One more. Inhale, look forward, lengthen. Release the bind, hands on hips, shoulder blades on back. Pause right there. So the idea here is that we are pressing into the feet to rise up. We're not rolling up. Push into your feet, and then the upper body can just sort of come up and open softly. So we want to know, where's the emphasis and where can I soften? The feet rooting down is a lot of emphasis. Feet hip width apart, root the feet. Take your hands down. Tadasana. Inhale, stretch the arms. Soften the shoulders, strengthen the arms. Bend your knees a little bit. Now we're going to fold forward, but we're going to fold halfway first. So on the exhale, let's fold forward. Just take a note of where the weight is in your feet. If the weight is on your heels, rock forward slightly and press the weight into the ball of your feet. Even make the heels light. Move your sitting bones back. That's the idea. Exhale, fold the rest of the way. Inhale, look forward, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left leg back, long lunge. Fingertips next to your front ankle. Soften in between the shoulder blades. Let's walk that right foot out to the right a little bit again. Squeeze the top of your left thigh up. Inhale, stretch your right arm up. So again, the belly and chest are coming off your leg. The right knee should press out over the right pinky toe. And then expand up. That right hand stays in line with the shoulder. It doesn't come behind. We don't want to stress the shoulder joint. So straight out of the shoulder. You can take your head back a little bit if that feels good. Sit deep into your right thigh. The muscles working great. Joints, gotta go easy on them. Exhale, touch down. Switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Walk the left foot over to the left a little bit. Slide your belly and chest to the right. So the hand that's down, up on fingertips is great. Then you know you're using more leg power. Begin to turn open to your left. Stretch your left arm up. If you get concerned about how the ankles are working, spreading the toes helps to engage the shin, the outer shin, and that'll be a little safer for the ankle. Press your left knee out to the left, over the pinky toe. Exhale, touch down. Step back plank. Check in with your hands. Spread your fingers, root the index finger knuckle down. Kind of the same action as the feet. Turn the elbow creases in. Squeeze the backs of your legs up. Now you can shift, if you're going to lower down in one straight line, that's an option, or you can take the knees down first. But if you lower down in one straight line, let's shift forward on the toes a little bit. Bend the elbows and keep the elbows close to your side ribs as you lower down. Come all the way down to the mat. Rest. Point your toes straight back. Take your hands underneath chin, cheek, or forehead. So I like hands under forehead because then I can stretch my neck out. So just take a few breaths here. You might notice that your breath is shorter or choppy. So we want to take a moment to let the breath smooth out, even out. You might notice that your heat may have risen. We want to take a moment to let that cool down slightly, not completely yet. You may notice that your heart's going a little fast. So with these few breaths, and you can do it rather quickly, you just want to start to soften just a little bit. Remember, we've got quite a bit more practice left, so you don't want to, it's not Shavasana yet. So one more really full breath, get as much out of it as you can. And let's go ahead and take the chin down to the mat. Take your hands back behind you. Clasp your hands. Elbows bent, palms come together. Now squeeze your legs together. Spread your toes. Take your low belly up and in. So your tailbone will direct toward your heels. Shrug your shoulders. Inhale and lift your chest. You might not get a lot of lift. I don't get a whole lot of lift because back bending isn't my favorite or my best. So just a few inches is fine. You can rock side to side a little bit to free up the low ribs. You might get more. Try and keep the palms working together if you can. Connect with your breath. Strong legs. Soften your neck. Exhale, come down and rest. So you can take your cheek to your hands or the forehead to the hands. Just take a few breaths right here. When you breathe here, think about expanding your low ribs and even the low back. All right, we're going to do that one more time. So go ahead and stretch your legs one at a time back behind you. Squeeze your feet together, spread your toes, chin down, hands clasped behind you. Palms together, elbows bent, shrug your shoulders. When you're ready, inhale, lift your chest. This time, if you'd like, you can stretch your arms back behind you a little more. Notice your breath. If you're out of breath, you're working too hard, lower down a little. See if you can lift your chest with the breath. Be grateful you don't have to talk through this. One more breath, pause at the top. Exhale, come down and rest. Breathe into the lowest part of your ribs to keep the expansion there. One more deep breath. Good. Place your hands by your side ribs now. Chin down, chest down. Tuck your toes, press your knees down, lift your hips. So this is using the arm strength to get back into down dog. Push into your arms to come up to all fours. Press your hips back towards your heels. Lift your hips, down dog. Take a couple of breaths here. So that was belly down back bend, and we don't want to take back bends in the low back, but sometimes they wind up there. So this is a perfect opportunity to clear any contraction or tension you may have produced in your low back. Inhaling, lift the low ribs up. Exhaling, stretch your chest back toward your thighs. Knees are still bent, tailbone still moving up toward the sky. So we still want to keep that lumbar curve. Let's walk the feet about halfway up the mat. Walk your hands back toward your feet. We'll come into a forward fold. Hands on hips, shoulder blades on back. Press into your feet to inhale and rise up gently. Let's go ahead and take a wide stance. This is going to be our big wide stance. So the first thing that you might notice about your feet, and remember the measurement of a wide stance is wrists over ankles, so I'm not quite wide enough. I've got to go a little wider. The first thing you might notice about your feet is that the outer edge of the foot, the pinky toe side, often presses into the mat, and that really creates a lot of stress on that outer ankle. So let's, hands on hips, press the inner edge of your feet down and spread your pinky toes. So even the outer edge of the foot might come off the mat slightly. This is the alignment you want. This is where you get the ankle bone kind of moves in a little bit, and you might see a little racing stripe on your outer shin. That's what you're looking for. Go ahead and clasp your hands behind you again, like we did when we were laying on our belly. Palms together, elbows bent. Shrug your shoulders, and inhale, just gently lift your chest up. So today we're going to place the emphasis on the inner thighs being strong and the inner edge of the feet digging in. Then go ahead and exhale. We'll fold forward. Pause halfway again. Bend your knees, move your sitting bones back. You can still keep the inner thighs strong. Then go ahead and fold the rest of the way with your chest open, pressing firmly on the inner edge of the feet. Stretch the arms overhead, let your head hang down. Tuck your chin. Slide the shoulder blades up toward the waistline. Stretch the arms overhead. And then go ahead and release your hands. So the hands can sit right underneath the shoulders. Now draw the shoulder blades onto your back. Eventually they'll get a little more mobile. And then inhale, straighten the arms, look forward and lengthen your spine. Think about the sitting bones moving back behind you and the center of your chest moving forward. Exhale and fold. So strong legs, spread your pinky toes. Inhale, lengthen. Good. Then heel toe your feet in toward the midline, just like twice, just so you're in a better position to come out of this pose. Hands on hips, shoulder blades on back, come on up. So we're going to talk about the alignment of the feet in just a couple more poses. So go wide again. Hands on hips helps the hips stay in alignment. So even now, like, look at your feet. Most feet will turn in or out. Make sure your feet are parallel, meaning the outer edge of your foot parallel to the outer edge of the mat. And then go ahead and turn your, well, I'll mirror you for these purposes. Turn your right toes out. So now you want the right heel to bisect your left arch. And press down through the inner edge of your left foot. So that always is going to be the case when we're in these poses. Then go ahead and bend your right knee. So you really want to be aware. You want to see that the right heel bisects the left arch. You want to see that the inner edge of that left foot is digging into the mat. And then the inner left thigh can get strong. And then inhale, lift your arms. So it might be, oh, I've done warrior 100 times. But you really want to stay informed in the legs. And then make sure that that right knee is over the pinky toe. Charge the underneath of your arms. So now the legs might be doing a ton of work, but the ankle bones are getting stronger. The same thing here with side angle. Take your right forearm to your right thigh. The left hand can come to your left hip for now. Fold forward and take your chest down toward the floor. This is just for a setup. Move your sitting bones back behind you. You're going to feel some opening in the right glute probably, and the inner left thigh should stay strong. You can go in and check it there. Now turn your belly and chest up to your left. Yeah, stay strong in the legs. Good. If you want to add, you can take that left arm by the left ear. This is side angle pose, Parsvakonasana. Squeeze your right leg straight for triangle pose, Trikonasana. Your hand can come on your shin or on the floor. You want to keep the chest open and keep those left fingertips in line with the shoulder. You take your head back if you want to add to the pose. Now really juice up the right quadriceps, spread the toes on both feet. Look down at your right foot, inhale, rise up. Good, hands on hips. Turn the right toes in, so that means all your toes are going to be pointing forward right now. Turn your left toes out. Same thing, check your feet. Left heel bisects right arch. Move, usually adjust the back foot. You can turn that right foot in slightly. Press into the inner edge of your foot. Exhale, bend your left knee. So we build the pose from the bottom up, so we know that those ankle joints are safe. Inhale, stretch your arms. Connect deeply with your breath. Still want to soften the shoulders even though the arms are strong. Kind of dig in with the inner edge of that right foot. It's good for stability too. Left forearm, left thigh, right hand, right hip, pause. Take your chest down to the floor. This is just remediation. You don't have to do this every time, but you might. You might want to set up the pose like this. Move your sitting bones back. That means the top of the right thigh goes back as well. And then sit deep into your left thigh and turn your belly and chest up to your right. Stay there or stretch the right arm by the right ear. Check in with your left hand. It might be cramping or clutching. Squeeze your left leg straight for Trikonasana triangle. So you might have to adjust the feet a little bit. Your left hand can be on the shin if you want to keep the shoulders open, or if you can do that and take your hand to the floor, great. Charge your left quadricep really strong. In the beginning, it might charge and then let go, and then charge and then let go, and that's fine. You take your head back if you're starting to feel like the front body can open in the pose. Look down at your left foot. Press into your left foot. Inhale and rise up. Turn your left foot in. Gently step in towards center. Go ahead and bring your feet together and let them touch. Bring your hands together and close your eyes. So this is that fun, this is like a trust fall all by yourself, right? So when you close your eyes, your body will start to sway. So, when is the point where I know that I can trust my own body to catch me, not let me fall? And then just kind of be mindful, oh, when I go sway to the left a little more, oh, the right side's going to light up. At the same time, I can spread my toes and be safe on the ankles. Can I allow some sway? And then when you're ready, release your hands, open your eyes, and come to seated. Yay, we're sitting down. Go ahead and stretch your legs out. Pull the flesh off of your sitting bones. So that's kind of a big action. So you'll take your right hand in your inner left thigh and your left hand really to the outside of the glutes. And instead of just pulling out to the side, you want to pull back. And I don't know if you can notice, but the side that I did, that leg actually gets a little shorter because you're literally plugging in to the hip joint. And that's how much you want to plug in and do both sides like that. And then you'll notice, oh wait, but my legs are working. And my low back can go in and my spine can get longer, and that's what we want. So the work on the legs is really important. And you can even look down at your feet now so that the toes are pointing straight up. Spread your toes. You'll see the ankle bones aren't being stressed at all. Go ahead and stretch your left arm up. And go ahead and reach down and grab that big toe just like we did before with the index and middle finger. You're going to have to bend your knee, and that's fine because you're going to bend your knee anyway. And bring that leg back. So you can take your right hand just behind the knee. You're going to bend the knee. I take the upper arm across the front of the shin. This is a little weird for people sometimes. If that's kind of counterintuitive, you can take your left hand to your right shoulder and then just cross over. Seems to be an easier way. You can grab your foot with both hands. And you're going to gently just pull back. So the secret to saving that ankle is pushing out through the ball of the big toe always. Even here, that's super activated. We'll talk about that in a couple more poses. We're going to bring that left foot across the chest to baby cradle it. Now this is a place where a lot of people will sickle that foot. You have to look at the sole of your foot, but then the outer ankle is stressed. So instead, you're going to push away from your face with the ball of the big toe. And for now, we'll do the super modified one. Left hand on the front of your left knee, right hand on your left foot. We're just going to push out, make that super active. And that's what's going to take all the stress off of that outer ankle bone. So this might be what we call baby cradle for you. That's fine. It can always be this pose for you. It's not a problem. If this is easy for you, you can deepen the pose by taking that foot into the crook of the elbow, but again, you don't get to sickle the foot. So if you get there, push out with the ball of the big toe. If your spine begins to round, you've gone too far for yourself. I like that when I'm driving in directions, I like people to say, if you hit this, you've gone too far. So that's the direction here. If your spine rounds and your foot sickles, you're going too far. Back it off, come back here, it's fine. Otherwise, here we are, baby cradling. Either way, push your left knee away from your chest and bring your foot in toward your chest, and you will have a sensation, which is what we like to call it, on the outer hip. You can rock your baby if you like. If you can keep the spine lifted. Now, that right foot that's on the floor might forget, right? So it might be just flopping out because you're so focused on the left leg. Keep the right toes reaching up toward the sky, and you're still pressing out through the ball of the big toe. Lengthen your spine. Then you can take the left foot outside of the right knee, lift your chest, lengthen your spine, take your left hand behind you, pause right there. So you're going to move the upper body back. Remember, we like to make space for the belly and the chest. Slide it back, and then begin to twist back to your left. So for me, I'll walk the sitting bones back again so that I can get my low back to soften and my spine long. A reminder that the left toes, the right toes reach up toward the sky. Breathe into your low left ribs to stay open in the back body. Tone your belly. On your next exhale, let's turn back to center. You'll take that left foot inside the inner right thigh. Lengthen your spine again. So you can pull the flesh off the sitting bones again. This time, inhale, stretch your left arm up. And we'll exhale, take your left hand to the outside of the right leg. So just so that you can direct the low ribs over that right leg and fold. Don't grab for your big toe because that will just have the opportunity to mess up the alignment in the right leg. So wherever your hand winds up, fine. You want to keep the chest open and the chest reaching toward the toes instead of the nose to the knees. Squeeze the back of your right leg down into the mat. The more effort in the back of your leg, the more open you'll be able to have the spine. Give yourself a few breaths here. Think about the low left ribs coming to the inner right thigh. One more breath. Walk your hands back. Inhale, rise up. Stretch your left leg out. Pull the flesh off the sitting bones again. So you make that adjustment again. It won't look as drastic as it did before because we've already done it a couple of times. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, reach down, index and middle, and hook your big toe. You can bend your knee as much as you need to. We're going to come up and bend the knee anyway. Support your knee, take your hand behind. Upper arm comes across the front of your shin. So I'll sort of move and sit heavier on the straight leg for a minute just to get that sitting bone back a little more. Grab the sole of my foot, drop back, just another opportunity to open hips. Keep an awareness in my straight leg, press out through the ball of the big toe. And then you're just gonna work this leg around and the shin will come across your chest. Pause right there. Make sure to work the ball of the big toe away from your face. Right hand, right knee, left hand on the sole of the right foot. And you can see like through little tiny adjustments, pull that foot in a little bit and you go, outer hip is happening, it's working. If it's not working, you push the knee away from your chest a little bit more, or add taking the foot into the crook of the elbow. So again, pushing out the ball of the big toe, no sickling. Wherever you get with this pose is fine. You want to add a little more sensation, you pull the foot closer, press the knee away. If it's too much already, back off. Check that your spine isn't rounding. Check in with your straight leg that's on the mat. Take that right foot, place it over your left knee. Hug your knee into your chest for a moment. Just pause right there. We often will lead into the twist, like pulling at the shoulders or using the neck first. So go ahead and take your right hand behind you and lengthen your spine. You can slide back slightly. Take your left low ribs back to the right to gently press into the twist. Think about the inner left thigh pressing down toward the mat. Sometimes we forget that bottom leg. Lengthen your spine. Breathe into your low right ribs. Stay connected. One more breath. On your next exhale, come back to center. Take the right foot inside the inner left thigh. So even here, I'm really careful to keep that both feet super active. Take your left hand outside of your left hip. Inhale, stretch your right arm up. Exhale, begin to slide your belly and chest to the left. Take the left hand to the out, or the right hand to the outside of the left leg, and exhale and begin to fold. So just by noticing your foot or where your belly is or your ribs are, this is also a mindfulness practice. As much of my awareness as is possible is in this practice, in my breath, in my body. Just gives me this little escape, departure for an hour. Keep the spine lengthening as you invite deeper folds. Again, don't reach for your foot and bend the knee. You want to keep your leg straight, back of the leg pressing down into the mat. If your hands find your foot that way, great. If not, wherever you are is fine. So I'll sometimes reach up out of the pose on an inhale. And fold a little deeper on my exhale, but nothing is forced. Everything is just an invitation on the breath. Inhale, walk your hands back, come up to seated. Then we'll take the soles of the feet together. So this is interesting because this is bound angle pose or Baddha Konasana. So what most people do is they'll grab the outer edge of the foot and pull up, and that just tightens everything. So what we want to do is begin to pull the inner edges of the feet apart. And people say, well, isn't that a sickled foot? Not really, because we're going to make the pinky toe side of the foot super active, just like we do when we're standing. So press that outer edge of the feet together when you open the inner edge, and you'll feel an activation. And then your knees can go east and west or north, south, whichever way you're facing, and lengthen your spine. So it's this action of opening the inner edges of the feet. And if you do have ankle injury, you've got to keep those feet super active. And if it hurts, you just back off. If your knees are hip level, you can gently fold forward. If they're not, stay upright. And again, we're not looking at a round spine or tucked chin when we fold forward. We're looking at sitting bones moving back, chest moving forward, keeping some length. So there's no competition, no, oh, how far forward can I go? Or my knees are up, I'm not good at this. It's nothing about that. It's like, where's my body today? When you're ready, inhale, rise up. You can use your hands on the outer knees to draw them in. Stretch your legs out to the base of your mat. Take the heels at the bottom of the mat. Take your hands to your heart. We'll work the abs a little on the way down. Fortunately, most poses are a little ab work anyway. Keep your legs strong and we'll lower down slowly. So the inner thighs still press down, keeping the back safe. My feet are still super active. Ball of the big toe presses forward. I'm going to lower down slowly. Remember, nobody can see if you come quickly slamming down to the mat because you've lost your toe. Whenever you get down to the mat, stretch your arms overhead and point your toes. Get a big extension in the front body. You want to stretch so you can really feel it through the abdomen, all the way through the skin of the abdomen. And when you're ready, take your arms about 5 to 6 inches from your body. Let your feet fall as they do and prepare for Shavasana. Surrendering as much of your breath and your body into the floor beneath you as possible. So nothing to hold. Nothing to do. No effort. Once again, connecting with the inhale. And just taking note, can you get a deeper breath now as more of your body relaxed? Is the duration of your breath a little more? Begin to stretch, move in any way that feels comfortable for you, always coming out of Shavasana slowly. Ultimately rolling to your right side, knees bent. Stay there for a couple of breaths. This is the transition. This is the moment that takes you from your practice back into your life, whatever evening chores you might have to do. You decide what of your practice you bring out with you. You were kind to yourself in practice, be kind to yourself the rest of the night. Gently use your hands to press up to seated, eyes closed, hands together over the heart, Anjali Mudra. Anjali Mudra is an offering pose. Every time you show up in practice, you make an offering to yourself, to your teacher, and to everybody that practices with you and everybody you come in contact with. For that, I thank you. Namaste. Thanks so much, you guys. I hope that answered your questions and that you have a great night and a great week.
My foot started to feel better when we started.